Hello everyone. So now we are going to see the user interface design. So far we have seen the design principles, the architectural design. So let us see how a user interface design should be. So so when we talk about user interface design, so these are the things that any user or any designer should see, whether it is easy to learn for a user, so easy to use, easy to understand. So these are the 3 points that should be that immediately comes into our mind. So now see what are the typical errors, there are design errors that are faced while designing a interface. So lack of consistency in the sense if suppose I'm designing a software app, that app should have the same layout everywhere. So that consistency will give the same idea toward the app. So for example, if suppose uploading a picture, in the very first page I have given given the middle the feature is appears in the middle. In some other some other page, the same feature in the same application appears to be at the top right column, in some other at the bottom right column. So what happens, there is no consistency. So what my mind actually thinks, for this particular application, when I'm going to upload my picture, it will always the center. Here it will be my login information always will be at the top right column. So these are the consistency things which a user will have in mind. But when these things wavers or differs from page to page or from module to module, then the consistency is challenged. Too much memorization, so the user should not have to should not have to think that memorize the entire thing. For example, if suppose the user is using a page, Facebook page, so he should be well aware, okay, if I go into the settings, so and so options are available. If I go into the profile picture, so and so options are available. So he should be knowing it. Instead of that, he should not be memorizing inside the settings, these things will be there. If I want to go there, I have to go through this, then this, and finally I will reach this. Like that, he should not burden himself by remembering those all links. It should be very friendly, that on the first gesture itself, he can identify the things. So no guidance or help. So it's sometimes the user interface will be so hard that it needs someone to help, so assist. So in that that kind of situation should be avoided. So poor response, it is not like the response, when the user feeds some response, it should be able to give the response back. It should not restrict, the time limit should not exceed, it should be within, spontaneous. Arcane or unfriendly, sometimes we can see the user interfaces pages are not that friendly, it is weird to see. So that should be avoided. It should have some aesthetic value that we will be the user will love to use it. So that these are the typical design errors. So now let us see the golden rules, how to overcome all these errors. So in order to overcome all these errors, we should see that place the user in control. That means the user, once when the user has started to use your software, your app, something, he should be love to use it. The only thought about the user is that he should be using this. For example, the gaming application, if suppose you're playing PUBG or COC, so once when the user is into it, he's fully into it, he won't remove his eyes from anywhere else. So like that, every application whichever you are designing, a software which you are designing, it should be like it should catch the user in its input, catch the user. Second, reduce the user's memory load. It should not, as we have already spoken, it should not make the user to memorize so many things. So profile picture, and if I want to log out, he should not be searching over it. So it should be clear cut. If I go to this, I will get. If I go to the picture gallery section, I'll be getting the videos. I'll be getting the photos. If I go to document section, I'll be getting the docs. I can view my PDF files. So it should be very similar. It should be very understandable instead of memorizing it. So make the interface consistent. The consistency should be maintained throughout whatever layout or interface you're using for one module. The same interface or the same frame should be used throughout, so that it won't make the user to feel he is using a different thing, or it won't actually irritate the user. So it will help the user to go in a pace. So every the consistency should be maintained throughout. So now let us see how to place the user in control. To place the user in control, it is like you should be able to define the interaction modes, in which way what does not force the user into unnecessary or undecided actions. So the user should know to where to go and how to find the exact things. In order to perform a particular work, he should know that where to go and how to do it. So rather than, it should not waste the user's time or efforts. Provide for flexible interaction. It should be flexible. It should be user interactive. Suppose he is going into some other link, there should be some function to redivert him to what he is looking for. Allow the user interaction to be interruptible and undoable. So the interaction should be, it should not interact. If suppose the user is interacting with the software, it should not be interruptible. It should be like it should go on the flow, so that the user enjoys it. Streamline the action as skill levels advance and allow the interaction to be customized. Streamline interaction in the sense, if the each and everything should be placed in a block. For this, for example, if I want to give a quiz, so there should be a particular quiz. So the quiz should have the related contents regarding to that. The quiz start date, end date, how many questions are there, how many so far answered, and how the displayed result, to download it. So all these interrelated things should be streamlined in the sense put together in a particular block. So these interactions should be put together. The technical interaction should be technically how the system is, how the software means, it should be avoided. It should not be revealed to the user. So the user is unaware of all those things. He's just concerned about giving some input and getting the output. The design of direct interaction with the objects that appears on the screen. So he should be able to interact with it directly. For example, if I go to the Google web page, there is a option search. So I know when I click the option search, I can search for anything what I want. So these should be very clear cut. The software design, the interface whichever shows. So from the seeing the interface itself, the user should know what it is going on and how you can interact with it. Now, how to reduce the user's memory load. So how we can reduce the memory demand on short-term memory. Establish meaningful defaults, meaningful defaults in the sense, sometimes the picture itself we can understand. If you place this is so the user will understand, yes, this is for cutting. If you place two copies of page like thing, then he will understand this is for copying. So these are the things that establishing the meaningful defaults. So define the shortcut should be initiative, like that. When he is using the software, he should be aware of the things, how it can be, he can reach the targeted block or targeted thing. The visual layout of the interface should be based on the real world metaphor. So the visual whatever it is, it should be related. For example, if I'm designing a web page for a forest, then when I place the trees, my layout is more of trees, it is green in color, then the user will have that feel. If suppose I am creating an application for a e-railway ticketing system, in that case, if I place some train, a compartment like things, engines, so that will give the feel that he is more into it. So these type of system should be used. Then disclose the information in the progressive fashion. So it should be disclosing the information in the progressing fashion, in the sense, if suppose I want to if I want to do some changes in my profile, so there will be a link called profile. So when I go into the link, then I will see it is maybe the information related to my profile picture. I can change the name, email ID, or anything. So it should be like a step by step process. It should not be like everything on the same page, so it will create more confusion, and it is avoidable. So how to make the interface consistent? In order to make the interface consistent, we should allow the user to put the current task in meaningful context. So whatever he is using, it should be put in a meaningful context. The consistency should be maintained across the family of applications. For example, if when we see the word layout, Microsoft PowerPoint, Word, other things, they have the similar functions, like in order to I have to save, or other operations which I have to do, it will be in the left top column. So I have to see save button for all the applications will be same design, cut options for all the design will be same. So the font options, everything will be same. So this is called consistency. So Microsoft has Office has a family of applications. All this family of applications have the similar features. So if the past interactive models have created user expectations, do not make changes unless there is compelling reason to. If suppose I have already we have made an application, so many users are used to it, and you're releasing the next version of the user. It should be like that. The basic things the user is so far used to it should be found in the new version also. So changing that thing entirely, then it will create delusion, confusion in the user. The user may not like to use the product, so it should be avoided. So now let us see the user interface design models. So based on the design models, we can see one by one: user model, design model, mental model, implementation model. The user model is just a profile of all the end users of the system. So we will be seeing what type of users are going to use, whether all are literate users, they are scientifically good, only students are going to use, or some people who blind people are going to use. So based on that, we'll collect the profiles who will be benefited by this particular app, or who is going to use, the age group and all will be collecting. So that is about user model. Design model, a design realization of the user model. So once we know who is going to use, which group is going to use this particular application or software, now we go how to design so that the particular grade of user will be benefited. Now the mental model. So it is the system perception. We'll know. So this there will be a login. A user will be logging it into the system. After logging it, he will find so and so options. This so and so options will be doing so and so things. So explaining these all things are called a mental model. So the user will, when I talk about my software to the user, so the user will have, he can assume, he can imagine the thing. So that is the user's mental model. Now implementation model. The implementation model is the look and feel. So after looking the particular application, your software, the user will feel. See, it may be pleasing to him. After using it, he can feel the difference or feel the goodness of your application, and he can whatever he thought. It is not like whatever he thought, but he can relate to the application. Suppose if I say e-ticketing system, when he uses that software for using, so he can come to conclude it. Yes, he can go to the particular thing. He can book the ticket. If you want to cancel, he can cancel it. If you want to reschedule it, you can do that. If you want a compensation, then he can apply for it. So he can when he uses that the entire thing, he can feel it. He can look at it and he can feel it. Yes, this is serves for the particular person purpose. So this is about implementation model. So now let us see this diagram. It shows how the interface design process goes on. So first it all starts with interface analysis and modeling. First we will analyze how the interface will be and we'll model it. After modeling it, we'll be designing the interface. After design, it is implemented. That implementation phase is called construction. After construction, we go for interface validation. So this validation will check for the errors or check for the utility, everything. If it is okay, then it is delivered to the customer. If suppose we can make more changes or the customer has some feedback, then again the same process repeats. Now let us see what are the different phases in interface analysis. So when we analyze, we'll try to understand what the interface should be. So as I said, the end users are the important assets. So we should be knowing that what the end users will be, who are the end users will be interacting with the particular software or particular interface, this interface. So after that, what are the end users task they are going to perform. So if I say if is a social networking app like a WhatsApp, so what the end users will be doing, they'll be just communicate, they'll be adding the contact, they'll be communicating with the friends, they'll be sending the documents, if needed they'll be calling. So these are the tasks the end users will be performing on my software called WhatsApp. So then the content that is presented as a part of the interface. Then what are the content I have to provide? So what are the content in case of WhatsApp? I will be having the number, privacy, the media, everything will be the content. How I will be organizing these contents plays a role. Then comes the environment in which these tasks will be conducted. So environment, which environment? When I say talk about WhatsApp, there are two kinds of environment. Either I can use it in my mobile phone or I can use it on my PC or laptops. So these are the different environments where my the software, this particular software called WhatsApp is going to work. So then I will analyze how well it will work. So these are the things of analyzing. So in detail view, we can see the analyzing are like, so as we have already saw, how far, who is going to use the train, whether trained professionals, technician, some clerical manufacture workers, someone who has little knowledge about the things is going to use. And what level of formal education that the average user should use. For example, if suppose it is an Adobe Photoshop application, so the user should have some basic idea about editing and all, editing, joining and all. So that is the thing. So if suppose someone who has never used such things will find difficult to use that. So that is the thing. So then we have to see that whether, if suppose my software is of a higher usage. For a higher usage, when I say it is like for if I want to develop a Java project like in Eclipse, in that case it is not easy for everyone to understand. So what there is a formal training can be provided, a written document, a help section will be there. After reading that, they can use that. So next again we have to see whether it involves more about typing or just about clicking a particular thing. Then the age range of the community of the users going to, whether the students are going to use, whether kids are going to use, whether above people of the middle age peoples are going to use for their work purpose. So it again comes into a factor. Then we will see how the user's timing, when the user is going to use that software much in his work time. So when I talk about work time, it will be like if I'm using Eclipse, it will be I'm using for my work purpose. So it is more of a purpose oriented, so it will consume more of my work time. If suppose I'm using some other gaming application, it will be like I'll be using in the free time. So these are the things that comes into a picture. The software to be then the users of the normal officer, Is the software to be an integral part of the work of the users? It is necessary for the it is necessary whether the software will assist the user, or it is for aesthetic value or for time pass. So these are the things before design the user analysis have to focus. Then again, the users are the subject matter, whether they are well versed in the subjects. For example, if it is a computer graphics software, if you should have a clear cut idea of what is computer graphics, then only you can go for it. So that requires expert knowledge. The user want to know about the technical sits technology. So some users will be much interested in knowing the technology behind the user, what technology used, whether it is developed using PHP, or we are using some ZAT server, XAMPP server, something. So these are the things some users might be interested. So we have to categorize based on this, and our app should be, our software should be based on that. We have to design our interface. Now the task analysis and modeling. So when we talk about task, and now we know what are the different types of users, their expectations, how they are going to interface to use the interface. So now in order to make that thing come into reality, we will see the task analysis and modeling. So what is the task analysis modeling? So in order to achieve those things, so we have to consider specific circumstances. What are the specific circumstances if it is a railway ticketing app? So why the person is going to come for that particular circumstance? He will be coming to book a ticket. So we have to see the circumstance first. Then what tasks and the subtask will be performed as the user does the work. So once he have to log in, after logging you have to go to book ticket. After booking ticket, you have to see the calendar. In the calendar you have to go to the fix the date. Then you have to see the pricing. So everything should be, we have to put together in a task and subtask. What is the sequence of the work task? That is the workflow. Next, hierarchy of the task. That is profile. Inside the profile, picture. Inside the picture, you have to corp, edit options. So these are the things. Says the hierarchy. So these are the questions before should be answered before we are getting into the task. So what other things will explain? Use cases. We know the use cases. Use cases are the different modules. Give an overview in a diagrammatic representation. So we'll be putting all the use cases. So and the basic interaction between the use case and the actor. Next comes task elaborations. So once the use case is ready, inside the use cases, what are the tasks should be done, should be elaborated. After that, the object elaboration. For example, in use cases, if it is say if I say that this is the admin module, the admin, what are the admin module admin used to do? Admin used to add a member, delete remove a member, put some constructions. So the task elaboration will be saying how you can add a member, how we will be removing the member and all. So what is object elaboration? The object elaboration, in order to add the member, what are the things technically involved? So these are the things, the objects or the classes are required. So in order to add the member, for example, in a WhatsApp group, he should be having he should use WhatsApp first. So that is the first and foremost thing. If he should have the WhatsApp app and he should register into it. Once it is registered, then I can add a member. So workflow analysis, it defines how a work process is completed when the several people are involved. So there is an example you can see over here. We already know what is a swim lane diagram. Based on the actor, it divides the work process. So here we can see the three actors are there. The patient, a pharmacist, and a physician. So the patient is now requesting for a prescription to be refilled. So the action first goes to the pharmacist. He determines the status of the prescription, and he sees that no refills are there, no refills are remaining. Then he sends the prescription to the physician. The physician approves it. Then again he sends it to the pharmacist. So this thing goes on and sees if suppose the no prescription is needed, then it is notified to the patient. If suppose no refill is available, the physician will give an alternative refill. If again no alternative is available, then the patient is asked to meet the physician. So the various activities are given by the arrows, and you can see over here. So now how to analyze the display content. Now we know, we have seen the end users, we have made the analysis, how the things going to work. Now we are going to see how to display the content. So that plays a main role when it comes to the user interface. The user is going to see your display. So what are the things are there? There are different types of data assigned to the consistent geographical location of the screen. That is, the photos always appear in the upper right hand corner. So when you have registered with the photograph, you can see it is always available at the top right column. The user can customize the screen location, the proper screen identification he can make. He can control, he can change the themes. So if suppose the error message is there, how he is going to analyze. So all these things comes under displaying the content. So let us see how interface design steps are ordered. So in order to see that, the first, using the information developed during interface analysis, we have got some information from the interface by doing the interface analysis. So now we are using this interface to design the interface. So what is that? So now we will be defining the interface objects and operations. After that, designing the objects, we'll define the events or the actions, how these objects are going to interact with each other. After that, we will depict each interface state, the state of these objects. Then we will indicate how the user interprets the state of the system. So these first three are from the point of the designer view, and the last will be the point from the user's view. The following are the design issues that can be encountered by the designer. First one, response time. So what is response time? Suppose if I'm clicking, if a user wants something, he's going to access. The response time should be very less. It should be responsive. It should be spontaneous. If it is taking more time, then the issue this design is not appreciated. Then help facility should be available. If the user feels he's not comfortable with it, he feels it is difficult to use the software, then some systems should be there to assist him. Error handling. If suppose the user enters a wrong value or goes, it should be managed carefully. The menu and command labeling should be very good, should be that should convey what is actually the software is about, so the user will not stammer or confused. So in application accessibility, this application, so far the application is great, it should meet its requirement. If it is a mobile application, it should be able to work on even with some minimum memory, should be able to work with the mobiles of different OS. So we should see into it. And last, internationalization. That means so far the application which I have designed, it should not be private, it should be available to everyone. So these are the design issues, and how they are design issues faced by someone who is into the user face design. So we'll see the web designing in the next video. Thank you.